Hello and welcome back to another video on the Football Zone and to a weekend previewing this weekend's Premier League Championship action. Back for the international break and kicking off with a huge match on Saturday lunchtime. It's Arsenal v Tottenham. Arsenal first, Tottenham third. Brilliant start to the season for both North London clubs, and that just makes this game even bigger, you would say, really, wouldn't you? Arsenal come into this one, obviously off the back of that 3-0 win against Brentford, looking really strong. Tottenham well on the back of a good win. It's really hard to call, but at home advantage, I think Arsenal are going to beat a top 6 team and prove a lot of doubters wrong. But moving on then to Bournemouth as they take on Brentford at the Vitality Stadium. And Bournemouth, under O'Neill, they had a really decent run. I'm recording this quite early, so I don't know if he's going to be manager, but it seems like he may be still for this one. Bournemouth under him look really solid. Brentford, still a really decent start to the season, even with that Arsenal loss in the top half. So I think both teams will be relatively happy coming into this one. It makes it kind of a hard one to call. I'm going to say 1-1. Moving on then to Crystal Palace as they take on Chelsea. And Chelsea, coming to this one, obviously they haven't had a Premier League game for nearly a month really because of the Queen's death and everything like that. They got the win in that one, but except for that, they just had a draw under Graham Potter, and Crystal Palace picking up some solid results as well. So, it's kind of a hard one to call, but you'd expect Graham Potter, the first Premier League game, to start off well, and I think he will do. I think he'll get a 2-0 win. Moving on then to Fulham against Newcastle at Craven Cottage, and Fulham will come into this one with lots of confidence after that 3-2 win against Forest, a big win for them. They'll come into some confidence just because they're great starts to the season really. Newcastle, a few frustrating draws recently. Palace and Bournemouth at home, maybe they would have expected 4 more points from those games. Still staying intense, so not a bad start to the season, but they'll want to kick on here. Makes it a hard one to call this. I think it could be another draw here for Newcastle, which may frustrate them. Moving on then to Liverpool against Brighton at Anfield. And Liverpool, it wasn't the best start to the season for them, was it really? But they've had a few weeks now where they can just go away and get back in shape really once they've all come back from their international break. Against the Brighton team, who they may be unsettled by the loss of Graham Potter. I'm personally not 100% sure about the new appointment, but we'll have to see where it goes. But in this one, I think Liverpool will definitely be targeting a victory. Moving on then to Southampton as they take on Everton at St Mary's. And Southampton, they were on a decent run. Obviously beat Chelsea, one of the final nails in the coffin for Tuchel. Since then had 2 losses, one to Wolves and one to Aston Villa, both away from home. I think they will be slightly frustrated to get nothing from those 2 games. They weren't performing too well either. Good opportunity to rebound, but Everton did get a really important win over West Ham just before the break, so they'll come into this one with confidence too. Quite a hard one to call for this one. I'm going to say it'll be a draw 1-1. Moving on then to West Ham as they take on Wolves in the late game on Saturday. And West Ham coming to this one off the back of a 1-0 defeat to Everton, and sitting in the relegation zone over the international break. I'm not sure many people have seen that coming. And up against Wolves, lost to Man City before that, but before that we're really picking up some form. It's quite an interesting one. Wolves will be looking to continue that. West Ham needs to get back on track. I think the international break could have really helped them. I'm going to predict a 2-1 win to West Ham. Moving on then to Man City as they take on Manchester United at the Etihad. And Man City was just on fire before the break, weren't they? Haaland, the goal scoring machine, hasn't disappointed anyone. It's just been an absolute smoke. However, saying that, Manchester United also improved significantly after their shocking start to the season, you'd have to say. I'd still say City will probably be a step too far for this United side here, to be honest. I'm going to say 3-0 to City in this one. Moving on then to the late game on Sunday, Leeds versus Aston Villa. Leeds 5-2 lost to Brentford, 1-1 draw before, 1-1 draw with Everton. Before that, they were on a decent run except for that loss to Brighton. They've just gone downhill after a really promising start to the season. Still sitting 11th, by no means a disaster at all. But they'll be frustrated. Villa still yet to really get going, but I hope that win before the break will help them along here. I'm going to say 1-0 to Leeds in this one. I don't think there'll be much to choose between the 2 sides. Home advantage could be key. Moving on then to Leicester as they take on Forest. And boy, oh boy, this is a big game for Leicester because do they need a win ever? in this one. I suppose both teams do really, don't they? Forest, sitting 19th, not a great start to the season for them, but yeah, Leicester have just been so horrendous. They were frustrating in the transfer window, but still, I still think the international break will do them good, give them a chance to reset. They back Brendan Rodgers, which I think is the right decision. And yeah, I'm going to say this will be 2-0 to Leicester. Moving on then to Hull and the Championship as they take on Luton and it's a terrible run before the international break for Hull. I think a few weeks ago they were second, third or whatever, and now they're all the way down in 20th. Yeah, just an awful run for them really. 4 defeats on the trot, and against the Luton side who got a big win over Blackburn before the break, and that will help them and their confidence going into the international break in 11th. Not too bad, can really kick on now. It's quite a hard one to call this one. I'm going to say a draw, presuming Hull will improve. Moving on then to Blackburn on the Saturday games as they take on Millwall. Blackburn, a 2-0 loss to Luton before the break. Really disappointing. It's just so inconsistent from Blackburn. That's the frustrating thing. They seem to win one and lose one, which is so frustrating for them. But Millwall, 2 wins from the last 3, which is a positive after a bit of a disappointing run before that, you'd have to say. So they'll come into this one with a bit more confidence. And I think, though, even at home, Blackburn, when they lost the last one, I'm going to say 2-0 to them. Moving on then to Blackpool as they take on Norwich at Bloomfield Road. And Blackpool, 2 losses before the international break, so you kind of felt like it came at a good time for them just to reset. Down in 19th, not the greatest start to the season for them, perhaps still adjusting to life under Michael Appleton. Against the Norwich side who were flying before the break, 20 points from 10, they probably just wanted to continue playing football, but still scored with their quality away at a Blackpool team that have been struggling recently. You'd still back Norwich here, 2-0. Moving on then to Bristol City as they take on QPR at Aston Gate. Bristol City come into this one off the back of 2 defeats. Another team who proved probably the international break was well timed for them. Against the QPR team who are really finding some momentum. Just 1 loss in the last 5 before the break under Michael Beale, and currently sitting in the playoff position. They started really well under him, you'd have to say, and they'll come into this one with quite a lot of confidence. At home for Bristol City, both teams started well. I think this could be a draw. Moving on then to Coventry as they take on Middlesbrough at the Coventry Building Society Arena. And this is a big game for Coventry. They stopped the run of losses. They've got 2 draws, 3 points from 7, but they're still 7 points off safety, 3 games in hand due to obvious reasons, but still another team that's had a really disappointing start to the season. Middlesbrough in the relegation zone, no one would have seen that coming, so the break was a chance to reset for Wilder's men, and they'll need a win here, and I think they will get a win. I'm going to say 2-0 to Borough. Moving on then to Reading as they take on Huddersfield at the Medeski. And Reading, a 1-0 win against Wigan last time out. Big result for them after a really poor performance against Sunderland. Reading are another team who seem to win one, lose one, win one, lose one, if you know what I mean. So you never really know what you're going to get from Reading. Huddersfield, obviously got that win against Cardiff, they seem to have a new manager in charge now after the last one was sacked. Personally, I'm not too sure on the appointment. I think they could pay here. I'm going to say 2-0 to Reading. Rotherham take on Wigan at the New York Stadium, and obviously the build-up for Rotherham has been dominated by loss of Paul Warne, which, to drop down to Derby, I know it's a big club probably in the context, but to still lose Paul Warne like that, I think would have been hugely disappointing for them, especially after such a decent start to the season against Wigan side, who seem to be struggling a bit, you'd have to say, for consistency, if you know what I mean. I think at Rotherham they'll kind of have a big reaction to the loss of Paul Warne, and all pull together and pull home the 3 points there. I'm going to say 1-0 to Rotherham in a tight Kent game. Moving on then to Sheffield United against Birmingham at Bramall Lane. And Sheffield United, I think it's fair to say before the break, they really were the class of the Championship, dominating teams really and looking so good. So they'll come into this one full of confidence. Birmingham as well, to be fair to them, had a really bad run under John Eustace, but picked up some decent points before the break. Last 3 games, 7 points from it. So they're staying in 17th. It's not too bad considering their early season expectations. But Sheffield United will come into this one full of confidence, you feel, and I think they'll pick up quite a comfortable win. Moving on then to Sunderland as they take on Preston at the Stadium of Light. And Tony Mowbray's side, 4 points from Reading and Watford away. Really good return. full of confidence now. At least getting there under him. And yeah, Preston side who are being hampered by their ability not to score goals. They kept teams out well, but they're just not scoring, and that's a major concern for them really. And yeah, I think Sunderland at home going a long way at the moment. I think they'll pick up the win here. Moving on then to Cardiff against Burnley. And yeah, this is a big game for both teams really. Cardiff, sacking Steve Morrison, I still think is a bit harsh, to be quite honest. And yeah, a 1-0 loss to Huddersfield, though obviously wasn't great, but it felt like he was really building something there. Against the Burnley side, he was starting to click really, really nicely before the break, and we're looking strong. So yeah, you'd have to say Burnley will come into this one as the favourites here. So I'm going to say 2-0 to Burnley in this one. Moving on then to West Brom as they take on Swansea at the Hawthorns, and West Brom probably another team that needs a break. Did pick up a solid point away at Norwich. They weren't really losing games, they were just drawing all of their games and had that terrible loss against Burnley. They've been performing well for the most part, and you do feel like results will turn for them. Will they? I'm not so sure. I think it will, just in time, but will they give enough time to Steve Bruce? Who knows? Against the Swansea side, who have struggled, but did pick up a really good win against Hull last time out, which will give them some confidence. In the whole here, I think West Brom will have enough to pick up the victory. I'm going to say 2-0 to West Brom. Finally, Stoke take on Watford in the Championship on Sunday. And Rob Edwards has been sacked 10th after 10 games for Watford. Yeah, maybe they expected a bit more, but still, what's the point in hiring 2 young managers to do that? It makes zero sense. But anyway, that's a rant for another time. Stoke, coming to this one off the back of a decent run before then. Watford, you can kind of chuck it out the window because they've just sacked another manager for no reason again. This is an interesting one. I still fancy Watford here just because they got the quality, but my pop safe makes some decisions sometimes. But anyway, guys, that's the video. Thanks very much for watching. As always, subscribe, don't forget to comment, down below, follow us, and the daily football news and subscribe to our channel screen. That'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace.